apologies for not being able to be with you, but current events forced me to be here. I was asked to give a short presentation of the main points, and while walking in the streets of this beautiful city this morning, I thought that there are two stories, and I think everything you need to discuss is happening between those two stories. The first one started in 2009. Ricardo Martinelli was just chosen to be the president of Panama. Shortly after, he goes to the office of the American ambassador, and he says, "Mr. Ambassador, I urge you to bring more cooperation of the DEA and the NSA, the one that we already have against drug traffickers, but enhance them." The American ambassador said, "Oh, wonderful." But President Martinelli said, "I want to add new targets to the surveillance list." The ambassador said, "Like who?" He said, "Like my business rivals, political dissidents, and my mistress." The US ambassador said, "Mr. President, you know it's impossible." They quarreled a bit, and President Martinelli realized that this is no go. He left the office furious. Shortly after, he recalled his eternal historical bridge and brotherhood with Israel. His first foreign trip, he goes to Israel, he meets with the president of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu. He swears allegiance to help Israel. He's speaking about historical alliance between the countries, which of course never existed. And he asked for Pegasus. Shortly after that, NSO experts pop up in Panama City, install a Pegasus that is activated, is run by a special team of specialists, cyber experts, subordinate only to the president. And every day, they follow a target that the president gave them, like his business rivals, his political opponents, and his mistress, because it's a shame that you have a Pegasus if you don't put surveillance on your mistress. They take the loot, the product of that Pegasus, they send them in a special limo to the President's Palace, and he orders them sometimes, if there's some kind of an embarrassing recording or video, something intimate, something embarrassing, he tells them to dump it on the web, to use it against political opponents. When he lost the elections in 2014, President Martinelli calls some people and said, what do we do with the servers? The servers that have this framing information. And according to the testimony later, he been given to the extradition request because President Martinelli fled to Miami. According to that request, they took all the servers, they put them in a helicopter, they smashed them into a mountain, except one printer that was on the list of US, of the Panamanian intelligence, and they took acid. They put this into the printer, and they put the printer to melt down. That's one story. The second story, I am told by a senior commissioner of a police force in Europe. That's in, you can go, sorry. The second story happens in Europe. The same day, the same year, 2009, when a policeman on a beach in Belgium see two children playing with each other, but then he sees something odd, they naked, and there's an adult taking video of them. This led to a raid of this person's house. They found 6 terabytes of pedophile material of the worst kind, and that led to the biggest capture ever of the biggest network of pedophile material production ever. And I was speaking with one of the leaders of that investigation that took place in 43 different countries, arrested 93 different members of this satanic network. They saved 5 children, some of them younger than 1 year old. And he says, you know, Ronen, when I'm old, and my grandchildren come to me and ask me questions, what have you done to make our life better? I will tell them I caught this pedophile network. And he says, I would not be able to do that if it was not for Pegasus. Now, here's the difference. The world coverage of Pegasus, NSO, NSA, offensive cyber, always focused on the cases of abuse. And with good reason. This is severe. To use Pegasus to hack, or any other offensive cyber system to hack the phones of dissidents, of journalists, of human rights activists, that's horrible. But I always wanted to ask two more questions. What created the need, and why would Western countries that do not violate human rights, that do not abuse and work against dissident and human rights activists, why do they pay NSO so much money? In short, the need was created because of the encrypted end-to-end encryption apps like WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram. This was enhanced when President Obama, following the Edward Snowden affair, gave the American big tech permission to create end-to-end military-grade encryption, leaving everybody, all the law enforcement agencies, the intelligence agencies, blind and deaf. Even the FBI, in their criminal investigation division, were left with no ability, with no visibility to look into the safe level of communication that Obama presidential order created. You cannot run a police investigation without looking into the communication between the criminals. This is, especially after the ISIS attacks, this is what created the need in Western European countries. Germany, the beacon of human rights, bought few different kinds of Pegasus and other offensive cyber systems. On the other hand, when the Israeli Ministry of Defense says we are only selling the systems, we don't know what Saudi Arabia does with them, then I say this is like the keeper of a zoo that let free, open the cage of a lion, and then when the lion eats someone, he says it's the lion. Of course that when you give Pegasus to Saudis, you can expect one thing, that they will abuse human rights groups. There's no underweight, there's no undermotion. And when you give a Pegasus to the Djiboutian intelligence services, something the CIA did, Djibouti is one of the countries with the worst records, according to State Department publication, the worst records of human rights violation. And so this is between the catching criminals, real criminals, severe crimes and terrorism, and the abuse of human rights. There's one line connected. We call it Pegasus or any other offensive cyber system. You cannot catch a terrorist, you cannot catch a drug trafficker or a pedophile without this weapon. And on the other hand, this is the weapon, the most capable weapon, the most deadly weapon to a civil society of any country, because it can track down the dissidents, not just in their country, but anywhere else. And so the question remains, how can you do without it? How can you do with this? What are the limitations? How can you make sure that only the good guys use it against the bad guys and not the other way around? I wish you a good day and enjoy the time.